One of the biggest problems in relationships isn't effort, it's perception. Many men believe things are fine because there's no argument, no tension, and no obvious conflict. Calm feels like success. But many women experience that same calm very differently. To them, it can feel like emotional distance. Not because anyone did something wrong, but because connection isn't measured by the absence of problems. In this video, we're breaking down the everyday behaviors men often see as harmless, but women experience as emotional withdrawal, and why this gap quietly changes relationships over time. A lot of relationships don't fall apart because of conflict. They fall apart because of misunderstanding. Specifically, because men and women often experience emotional closeness very differently. For many men, fine means stable. There's no arguing, no tension, no emotional storms to manage. The relationship feels calm, predictable, and under control. From his perspective, that calm is proof that things are working. But for many women, calm without connection doesn't feel peaceful. It feels empty. Emotional closeness isn't measured by silence. It's measured by engagement, by responsiveness, by whether someone feels emotionally met, not just physically present. This difference shows up in everyday moments that seem small. A man comes home tired and quiet. From his point of view, he's decompressing. He's still there. He's still committed. But from her point of view, the silence feels unshared. It feels like emotional absence. A man listens to a concern and responds with logic. He thinks he's being helpful. He's offering solutions. But she feels unheard because what she needed was empathy, not problem solving. A man sticks to routine, same habits, same tone, same way of showing up. He sees consistency. She feels stagnation. None of these moments are dramatic. That's what makes them dangerous. Men often don't notice emotional distance forming because nothing obvious is happening. There's no fight to react to. No crisis demanding attention. Everything feels fine. Women, on the other hand, tend to feel emotional shifts before they become visible problems. They feel the gap forming. They feel less seen, less engaged, less emotionally met. So they try to bridge it. They ask questions. They bring up feelings. They suggest spending time differently. To men, these attempts can sound unnecessary or repetitive. To women, they are attempts to reconnect before the distance becomes permanent. When those attempts don't lead to change, emotional effort starts to feel one-sided, and that's when emotional distance begins to harden. Another major misunderstanding is the difference between presence and engagement. Many men believe being physically present is enough. They're there, they show up, they stay loyal. To them, that equals commitment. But emotional engagement requires more than proximity. It requires attention, curiosity, and emotional responsiveness. Being in the same room isn't the same as being emotionally available. Men also tend to compartmentalize. Work mode, rest mode, relationship mode. This helps them manage stress and responsibility. But to a partner, that compartmentalization can feel inconsistent. It can feel like emotional availability switches on and off. Women often experience connection as continuous. Emotional presence doesn't pause just because the day was long. So when a man emotionally withdraws to recharge, it can feel abrupt and distancing. This difference isn't about who cares more. It's about how care is expressed and perceived. Another assumption men often make is that silence equals peace. Silence can feel calm. It can feel controlled. But silence can also feel like avoidance when emotional bids go unanswered. Women don't usually pull away because of one ignored moment. They pull away after many moments where emotional bids weren't met. Small attempts at connection that went unnoticed. Over time, this creates a shift. She stops asking, stops sharing, stops initiating. To him, things feel calm. To her, things feel lonely. This is why emotional distance is so dangerous. It doesn't announce itself. It blends into routine. By the time it's noticed, it feels entrenched. Men are often confused when their partner becomes quieter or less engaged. They think things should be improving because there's less conflict. In reality, the emotional connection is fading. Another factor is how men respond to stress. When overwhelmed, many men withdraw emotionally. They focus inward. They become quieter. This feels self-protective to them. But to a partner, it can feel like abandonment. Without communication, withdrawal is misinterpreted as disinterest. This is also where men and women differ in how they interpret effort. Men often believe effort is about action. Women often believe effort is about attention. When attention fades, effort feels absent, even if actions remain. Emotional distance grows when these interpretations clash. The solution isn't constant conversation or emotional intensity. Emotional engagement doesn't mean talking all the time. It means responsiveness. It means acknowledging emotional bids and responding with presence instead of avoidance. A shared laugh. A check-in that goes deeper than logistics. A moment of curiosity instead of assumption. These moments keep emotional connection alive. Men who learn to notice when fine is no longer enough don't lose control. They gain trust. They prevent distance before it hardens into detachment. Relationships don't end because people are physically absent. They end because emotional presence fades. Most relationship damage doesn't come from conflict. It comes from emotional distance that goes unnoticed. What feels fine to one person can feel lonely to another, and that gap grows quietly over time. Awareness closes that gap, not perfection awareness. If this helped you see the difference more clearly, subscribe. And if you've experienced this from either side, share your thoughts below. Understanding is often the first step back to connection.